everyone! So I'm doing a Q&A today. This is what y'all asked for, so I gotta give the people what they want. And I asked you guys to ask me some questions like over a month ago, so now I'm finally getting around to it. So I thought I'd film this on my bed for some cozier vibes, and also because my butt hurts when I sit on the ground too long, so I didn't feel like dealing with that today. I would like my booty to be intact for the day, but let's get started. Let's whip out those questions that you guys sent me. So the first question is, what is your go-to snack? So I don't really have any one go-to snack that I will always reach for. It's usually just like I go through phases, and they're always sort of really healthy snacks, I guess. So it's not anything super exciting. Like I went through a phase once where I was addicted to apples and I just ate apples all the time as a snack. And then later on it was carrots. And right now I'm obsessed with eating these dried tamarinds. It's like this dried fruit snack that I found at my local Asian grocery store. So they're not the most exciting snacks, but I enjoy them. All right, so next question. How did you get into sustainable fashion and eco-friendly living? So I would say that I've always lived pretty sustainably, but I just never labeled it as such until recently. My parents have always been really conscious about the way we live and how we shop, and they've kind of instilled that value in me. Like we never buy food in bulk, and we always shop pretty locally and look for organic foods. My parents have always had this mindset of quality over quantity, no matter what it is that we're buying. And I remember when I was younger and I would get easily distracted by clothing sales and other sale items, and my mom would always tell me that it's better to buy one good quality expensive piece than to buy 10 pieces that are like super cheap and really bad quality. So I think that sort of stuck with me throughout my life. But I did stray a little from that sustainable path in college when I had a huge shopping problem, and I would really just buy from all these fast fashion brands, and I would buy all these sale items. But I'm coming back to my roots now, and it was really only about a year ago now where I started really learning about what sustainable fashion was and all the things that go on behind the scenes for a lot of companies, which I just didn't think about before in college because I just really wanted a lot of clothing and I wanted options, and I didn't think about how I could do it in a way that wouldn't harm other people or the environment. So I definitely started learning about that about a year ago. So I got a few similar questions. One is, what place is at the top of your travel list, and what are the top 3 cities you'd like to travel to? So honestly, I really just always wanted to travel the world, and I really just want to go everywhere. But I think my top places to go would definitely be London. I'm obsessed with British accents, just like a lot of other people. I'll admit it. It also just seems like a very cool, diverse city. I've heard it has a really good vibe, and British humor is amazing. So I do want to go to London. I'd also love to go to Japan, specifically Tokyo. It just seems really cool there. And then I think Singapore would also be really cool to visit. So the next question is, what did you study in college? So I went to William & Mary, which is a college here in Virginia, and I majored in Chinese and minored in computer science. And I actually would have double majored in Chinese and computer science, but then halfway through I had basically a breakdown and decided that I could not do computer science as a major anymore. I just was never really good at coding, and it gave me so much anxiety. So I decided to just drop it to a minor because I was only one class away from making it a minor. So next question, did you live on campus in college, and what was your college experience like? Oof, that's a lot to unpack. Yes, I did live on campus for all 4 years actually. A lot of people will move out and live off campus after their freshman year, but I was honestly just too lazy to find real housing, so I just stuck with the dorms for all 4 years. I remember freshman year I was living in this tiny, super crusty, cockroach infested dorm, and it wasn't a bad place to live at the time. I thought it was cozy and I just didn't really mind it, but I definitely leveled up each year with my my living situation. By the time I was a senior, I had like a really nice room, still with a roommate though, but it was so much bigger and we had a bathroom in our room. For the rest of my college experience, it was interesting to say the least. I would say that I really came out of my shell in my college years and I learned a lot. That's where I really went through a lot of personal growth. I was super shy in high school and throughout all my childhood, and I guess I'm still a little bit shy now, but I'd say it's definitely improved by a lot. But I definitely say college was very hard for me in the beginning, especially because I was so shy. It was such a huge step out of my comfort zone because I'd always lived at home and I honestly didn't do much or socialize much in high school, so I really just sat in my room a lot, which is kind of what I do now. But back in high school, I hadn't really experienced much of anything, so it was like I was suddenly thrown into college, surrounded by so many people and living mostly on my own, so it was a lot to handle, and my grades really tanked. Like, they went down the gutter. In high school, I wouldn't say I was the best student, but I did well in school. I got all A's and B's, but I've never had the best study habits. I've always been a huge procrastinator. So once I got to college, those terrible study habits couldn't sustain me anymore, and it was such a struggle sort of just adjusting to living on my own in a dorm and also trying to stay on top of all of my classes. So while I didn't fail any classes, I got quite a few D's my freshman year. And in terms of the other aspects of college, I also struggled a lot. I think it's because I didn't really do anything in high school, so once I got to college, I had all that freedom to just do whatever I wanted. So I really just dove right into that college lifestyle. I was drinking and partying and hooking up with guys every weekend, which is a lot for me personally because I don't do any of that anymore. And when I think back on it, it just doesn't feel like it was me. It just feels like a completely different person. And I'm definitely in full support of anyone who wants to party or drink or hook up. But I just think for me personally, I did it in such an unhealthy way and it just wasn't who I was at all. And the combination of all those things and my grades and just living on my own in college really just ruined my mental health. I struggled a lot with depression. I was the saddest I had ever been when I was in college. But at the same time, I did have a lot of fun and I made a lot of really great friends and my grades did get better over the years. And then by senior year, I definitely chilled out a little bit in terms of my partying lifestyle. And that's also when I got into my very first long-term relationship. And that was a whole different set of issues, which I will not go into detail about, but that also wasn't a very healthy situation for me to be in. But it's okay, y'all. I'm all good now. I'm in a very happy and mentally healthy place, so all good things. All right, so next up is what inspired you to create your channel? So I'd actually never really thought about making a YouTube channel. I just didn't think it was for me, and I always felt that I was too shy to be talking to a camera and putting videos of myself out there. Oh, how the tables have turned. But originally the idea formed about a year ago. My best friend and I just really wanted to start a sustainable fashion line, and since we didn't have any formal fashion education or any contacts or any way to get into the fashion industry, we figured the best way to do that was through YouTube. So it just started out as this fun thing where we would hang out and film videos together, and then the pandemic kind of hit and it was really hard to film together and also balance all the things that we had going on in our lives. So we decided to kind of just do our own separate thing. So I decided to start my own YouTube channel, and she's still in charge of the other channel, which is called Shenanigans, so you should check her out. But before I started YouTube, I never really expected to love filming and editing as much as I do. So once I really got into the editing groove, I was obsessed with it. And I've always loved fashion too. So I just decided to start my own channel, and here I am. So the next question is my favorite type of exercise. I've never been a very physically active person. I'm very uncoordinated and I don't really like to exert myself that much. But ever since I graduated college, I have been really good about working out because I realize how good it has been for my mental health. I like to go on runs or just do at-home workouts. So I just say my favorite type of exercise is just anything where I have to use my arms, just because it makes me feel really accomplished and like my muscles are actually working. So this question is, what are your holy grail makeup products? So I definitely say foundation is important for me because I have a lot of blemishes and my skin is so oily. So I like to use the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. It really makes my skin feel a lot better. And of course eyeliner. I use the NYX Epic Ink Liner. I gotta have that winged look, you know. And then my number one product is definitely my brow pencil because I don't naturally have that much brow. It is a very sparse area for me. So I really like to fill them in and I like to just have the appearance of eyebrows. So I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer and it works wonders. And the next question is, are you out of school or working? What do you do and how has the pandemic affected that? So yes, I am out of school. I graduated last year and I'm not currently working. I am unemployed and I have been that way for far too many months now. And I think the pandemic really affected that because obviously it's a lot harder to get a job now and I didn't have much experience to begin with, so it's even harder. And I really don't like job hunting or doing interviews. It makes me so anxious. And I know obviously the job hunting process is rough for everyone, but I think I just really did not want to work a 9-to-5 job and the pandemic kind of made me procrastinate that even more. So I ended up just throwing myself into YouTube once the pandemic hit in an effort to escape the reality of applying for jobs, which I know is not the healthiest way to deal with things, but it is what it is. I actually recently got TOEFL certified, which is a certification for teaching English. So I am now looking for an online English teaching job, so hopefully your girl will be employed soon. And this next question is, how has your style evolved through high school and college until now? So I feel like in high school and college I focused on more trendy pieces, but high school is when I actually started experimenting with my own style. I remember I was reading a lot of fashion blogs at the time. I don't know if anyone has heard of Hanali Mustaparda. I don't think I said that right at all. I don't know if she still runs a fashion blog. I used to look to her for outfit inspo a lot. So that was when I first started really shopping for myself. And I'll admit I shopped a lot at Forever 21, but I didn't know at the time how bad that was for the environment. And I think college is where my style really evolved and I started figuring out what kind of things I actually liked. And even now I'm still always experimenting. I think I definitely wear a lot more pastels now. And I'm also a little more creative with my outfits because I'm always trying to find new ways to wear the same thing since I don't buy as much as I used to. And this next question is in Russian, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but I can't read it at all. So if anyone knows Russian or whatever this language is, let me know what it says. But I think my answer to that question is yes. And now for the last question, what's your favorite TV show at the moment? So I recently finished this show called The Boys. It's a show on Amazon Prime and it's really good. Basically about superheroes, but not in the Marvel way where they're actually good people. It's like if you took superheroes and made them super corrupt. So it makes for a very dark and intense show, but I like my shows very dark, so I love the show. It has a really good script, really good acting, and the story is amazing. And this one's a classic, but I also love New Girl. I actually never got into it before when it came out, and it was only this year when the pandemic hit that I started watching it. But it's a classic, very funny, and a very feel-good show. And I also recently started watching The Mandalorian, which I'm kind of late to because I know those Baby Yoda memes have been around for a while, but Baby Yoda honestly lives up to the hype. Like, I thought he was cute before, but in the show he is even cuter. So definitely watch that just for Baby Yoda. So those are all the questions. Thank you for asking them and for watching me answer them. So that's it. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!